We say what they can't radio.
I'm going to test this out. Keep in mind, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
You are now listening to the Get You Some podcast with Nivi, Fia D, and Miss Lisa K.
You ready to get you some?
Dear black man.
Dear black man.
Dear black man.
Dear black man.
I know that the world wants to portray you to be a certain thing, but I see you. You are beautiful. You are smart.
You are valued. You are a king. You are someone's love, someone's light. You are a friend, a lover, a father.
I see you guys out there being providers. I see you being loving.
Young men like my son could look at you and say, if he did it, I could do it. Your past does not have to define your future.
The struggle is there, but at the same time, we believe in you.
I'm sorry that the world sees you sometimes as a scary person. You're not scary. You're someone's son, you're someone's husband, and I truly love you.
You can do it. I value you. Don't let nothing stop you, because young men are looking up to you.
You are very necessary. Never forget that, because we need you.
I will always be here forever as your queen.
Welcome to episode 9 of the Get You Some podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Miss Fia D.
And I am Lisa K. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Yes. So I just wanted to give everyone the heads up. We're changing up the format a bit for this episode. We want to talk about something really deep and
Yes.
personal to us as women, as Black women. So just enjoy the show.
Yes.
Yes. So before we jump into it,
How's your week been? What are you up to?
You know, my week, amongst everything that's going on and, you know, the kind of somber kind of feeling that's going on in the world right now, my week has been pretty okay. I have been more focused than ever.
Right.
There has been a certain level of power that has come over me, and I just feel like it's time. It's so time to just get right and get it done. And so for me, this week has been all about just organizing my life. I know I've been saying this from like day one, but now it's like pen to paper, like scheduling every single thing, making sure that I'm reaching all my goals because I'm worth it. And listen, it's time. What about you?
That's so funny. So I'm definitely in that definitely still in a super focused mode. Work has not slowed down, and that's driving me a little bit crazy, but it's also making me like called to like mind all the other areas of my life that essentially, because I'm mentally committed essentially to focus primarily on work until a certain date, and that date has passed, and now it's kind of overlapping. So it's more so for me, it's about just finding the balance.
Yeah.
And of course, you know what happens, like when you're super focused, a lot of things suffer sometime because you don't have the bandwidth sometime to like, your mind is on one track, you know what I mean? So I've just basically been trying to pay a little bit more attention to like the collaborations that I have, and just like more so what value am I bringing to them, assessing that, and like stepping into, you know, does this make sense, and how can I be more like, how can I bring more value, and just improving like the quality of my relationships. So definitely still finding a way to do what I have to do, like what my professional obligations are, but then also like filling my personal cup. So like this weekend, I haven't seen honestly, and I hate to say this out loud, but I haven't seen my grandmother, like we're in April, I haven't seen my grandmother since Christmas.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah. So I mean, I've talked to her, but I haven't
check
seen her.
on Nana now.
So I was in the neighborhood, so I went and spent some time with her and hung out with her and my aunt for a little bit on Saturday, and that definitely, you know, that filled me up. Usually she drives me up a wall, but it was like I missed her, so it was really good to be around her. And I'm kind of just trying to like find those little pockets of time where I can just, you know, spend some time with a friend, spend some time with my family. It's not going to be a ton of time, but at least the very least I'm trying to like make it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, I find that like I cling to, you know, this has been a really rough year for me, and like I find that like there are specific people that were like there and that are still there, and I find that I cling to them, but then there are other people that like want my attention. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm finding that balance. And then, you know, to your point about the goals, which is what my focus is on, which is why I had to kind of pull myself out of the work autopilot and say, you know, like I'm focusing on like my, like, you know, certain personal financial goals, certain health goals that I have. And what's happening is, when you can, like, when you start to get really, really close to accomplishing these things, you start to get resistance from yourself. You start to get resistance from people around you. So I'm doing a lot of like battling the resistance.
Right.
And, just, it's a lot of pushing through. It's tough. It's definitely tough. And I'm finding myself needing to meditate more, needing to like do the downtime things more to center myself. But I mean, I'm getting there. And so
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So just to piggyback off of what you were saying, right now I'm creating something, a program,
Right.
I want to say a club, quote unquote club for women, because I find myself in a situation where I'm a mom and a wife and a career woman and a businesswoman, and I'm literally trying to juggle
Right.
everything.
And it's challenging.
And everything needs my attention.
Mm-hmm.
There's not anything that can fall through the cracks. And if it does, it's usually at the detriment of myself.
Yeah, pretty much.
And in my book, By Design, I don't know if you remember the part, but it was like, if your partner met you, and this is I'm talking specifically about a relationship, but it could be anything. It could
Right.
be any kind of, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. But if someone meets you and you're doing a certain thing, say it's working out or it's meditating or it's writing every day, life can happen
Mm-hmm.
when people come into your life, and it feels beautiful. But if you start slacking on what is important to you as an individual person,
The relationship suffers.
yeah, and you almost get resentful, like you made this
Mm-hmm.
happen, when they really didn't.
Right.
So it's been, for me, this month, when I say this month, I mean March, and to the present, I've been really focused on not letting the things that make Lisa, not Lisa the mom, not Lisa the wife, but Lisa the woman, feel good. So that's writing, that's going back to the gym and really being consistent and just taking me time.
No, that's absolutely number one.
And let me let y'all know that when you start taking you time, people will get offended. Like, how dare you put yourself first?
Pretty much.
But if you don't, you won't have anything to give to anyone. So I'm trying to work out a different program, just to full circle, trying to create like an online tribe of women who have a lot of commitments, a lot of responsibilities, and creating a space for us to come together and just kind of motivate each other and share tips and tricks on how to like DIY hack your life,
right.
and make it happen. So hence the organizing and the calendar and the meal prepping and, getting everybody on a schedule of what needs to happen. So as soon as I figure out how to present that, I will. And because I know there's a lot of you out there with kids and husbands in school and a boss that won't get off your neck.
No, just Lord.
And a business is about to, could take you to the next level, but you're trying to figure out how to do it all. I got you. Just give me a little bit. But we're going to circle back.
We're going to juggle. Exactly. We're going to juggle all those moving parts and get to that.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel good.
No, you should. You're accomplishing a lot, and you have a lot on the coming.
Yes.
And that's the important thing.
Yes. So I'm
you
excited.
can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. And if you guys want to connect with me and figure out what I'm doing right now in this moment, just always know that you can check me out on Instagram at @LKingByDesign. I'm very social. Shoot me a DM. Talking about social.
Oh my gosh. So apparently you guys really enjoyed the last episode.
Girl.
So we got a lot and did a lot of feedback. We also got a lot of just feedback, just inquiries and suggestions and just like lots of questions for like other shows going forward. So definitely we are like processing all that feedback and trying to put together shows that you love so that when you're listening, it's definitely like a show. It's your show for you. And we're excited to bring that to you guys soon. So please just stay tuned to us always and keep an eye out on what we have going on all of our social media platforms. Again, ALittleAudacity. This is the one of like the 20 times I'm going to say this for the episode as usual. So time. So let's see. Definitely you guys engaged with us a ton since the past episode. And basically on episode 8, we talked about, which was called Loving the Lies We Tell.
Yeah.
We had Marley D here. Marley D from Two Girls and a Guy.
Shout out to Marley D.
Yes. So we were talking about Mr. Terrence, as we're going to call him, his very blunt response to a young lady who wanted to cuddle at 3 a.m. I think it was 3 a.m. Whatever time.
It was like 3
It was someone.
Booty call hours.
Booty call hours, exactly. So this basically sparked a conversation with us about some of the craziest lies we've told and some of the craziest lies we've been told, as well as some of the things that we wish people would be more honest about. So thank you again, Marley, for joining us, and we definitely hope to have you back on the show really soon.
Absolutely.
So some of the questions that we asked were, can you handle the truth? What are some of the things you wish people lied to you about? What are the worst lies you've been told by a person you are dealing with? What are some of the worst lies you've told? And then what do you wish someone lied to you about, or what do you wish people would be more honest about? So this is not really a specific lie question, but we wanted to shout out Linsberry because she kind of brought something up that we definitely want to talk about more in the future. And so basically what her comment was that Lisa brought it up once about people being honest about how much money they make. And I would love a discussion where people shared what, their jobs and some salaries and gave us an idea, but also how they negotiated these higher salaries or perks. Even what are some highly valued skills that are good to have now? What are some good side hustles? And just kind of talk a little bit more about that. And I think it's really cool because we're all like, from the feedback that we got this week, I got to see like a lot of our listenership are different age groups, but it's a lot of women. And, we have some of like the college, we have a group chat of college seniors.
Amen.
Shout out to class of 2019.
All right.
So yeah, we do have we have that. And like a lot of them wanted the same type of advice. Like they wanted side hustle advice. They wanted more so like career stuff and juggling and balancing or whatever.
Right.
So, but I also did want to dig definitely a little bit deeper into people who were lying about lifestyle. That was another thing that we heard a lot about.
Girl, we can talk about this from now till thy kingdom come, but it's at our detriment, because I feel like if we're honest about the salaries that we make with each other, then we can kind of figure out where the gaps are. Like if you and I have the same position and you're making $25K more than me.
Exactly. Then it's why? How? What's going on here?
Exactly. Is it our education? Is it
the skills?
Or is it straight up, I'm not asking for enough?
Exactly.
And I think that's one way that we as a community can grow and see each other grow and just get this money.
Exactly.
Right?
Among other things.
Yes. But I definitely want, if there's anyone out there that would love to come up, my fellow HR, I'm calling out my fellow
Seriously.
HR colleagues to come up and really let's talk about how people can negotiate salaries and there's in the world of HR and upper management, there are just certain keywords that should be that should be said when you're negotiating salaries. So we could definitely talk about that. But thank you, Linsberry.
So that's one of them. Did you have anything from our socials that you wanted to share or like bring up?
From our socials, they've been hitting me in my personal phone.
I know, right? I got so much, and we'll probably, we'll probably do. We'll more than likely like post a lot of them.
Yeah,
on our IG page,
I will post
just to
a lot of them.
For the conversation, to keep the conversation going.
The guys were absolutely hilarious because they were like, "Why don't you tell? Why don't you tell your audience about girls that be lying about having weave in their hair?" And I'm like, people still a thing? People still do that?
I feel like
because the bundles are popping.
Seriously,
the bundles are popping. I mean, but they really enjoyed being engaged with the episode. So for those of you who aren't engaged to the episode, just check out that was episode 8, Love and the Lies We Tell.
Exactly.
It's a really dope episode. So
thank you again for engaging with us. As always, let's keep the conversation going on at ALittleAudacity on all of our platforms.
Yes. And I just wanted to bring up before we move on about our girl Nevi. I know we started with Nevi, and she had the segment Talk the Things Them. Nevi is going through some personal issues right now. She's still our girl, but we will keep you updated as to what's going on. It's kind of up in the air right now. But we send her our best wishes, our prayers, and just know that we here for you, girl.
And we love you.
Yeah. So send her some love on her social and just let her know that you guys have been thinking about her. We'll let her know as well.
Yes.
Great. So on that note,
Yes.
should we go? I don't even know how to talk about this.
It's heavy, but it's a conversation that I think we all should have.
Yeah. So R.I.P. Mr. Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle. Now, hey, for me personally, I don't really know his music. Mm-hmm. Do you? Mm-hmm. I don't. I know him as being Lauren London's man. Honestly, because I follow her. I don't really follow him. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the rap music is not, I don't have too many rap songs in my phone. But, and I knew him more from being an entrepreneur than his music.
A lot of people did. A lot more people knew him for his community activism than they did for his music, which is interesting because his music is pretty good, but it's just like his music didn't get the play that it should have initially. You know what I mean? The Marathon is amazing. But
so I know I'm not the only one out here that didn't know about Nipsey Hussle. So just to bring everybody up to date, Nipsey Hussle, his real name, I'm going to try not to butcher this, but Armaeus Ashgidam. That sounds about right. Mm-hmm. He was a widely respected rapper and songwriter who represented much more than his music. He ascended beyond the conditions of his childhood to become a pillar in his community. Hussle represented entrepreneurship, ownership, and was highly active in cryptocurrency. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. Oh, like you know everything, don't you?
I mean, I'm familiar with him.
Okay. So though he wasn't hip hop's biggest names, he was certainly among the most entrepreneurial, and he did give a lot of opportunities to the people within the neighborhoods inside of the community, and a lot of people connected with him because he always wanted to inspire people, especially people of color, to own their own assets, to put themselves in positions of financial independence and financial power.
Right.
Like,
and he was only 33.
And he was 33. You know, Jesus died at 33.
Yes.
I don't know what that means, but I feel like it means something.
It does.
Girl.
It does.
So
we definitely want to extend our sincere condolences, our thoughts and prayers and love go out to his family and everyone affected by his passing. Thank you, Nipsey, for all you've done for the culture, for the seeds you've planted, and for the legacy you leave behind.
Yes. R.I.P. And I want to send some love to Lauren.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, they look so in love. That's one of my biggest fears, is to lose a man that I'm absolutely in love with, randomly.
It is a fear of mine. It has been a fear of mine. It's an emotion that I've had to deal with, and it's hard. So it's imagine somebody actually going through it.
Yeah.
I couldn't. So
can you imagine? But before we get into that, I just want to really touch on what he did to encourage people of color to own their own. I think that's the biggest, the most highest form of encouragement that you can give someone, especially people with our skin tone, that have it a little harder than anyone else in the world. Our color offends. Our color is feared. It's looked down upon, although it's, what do you call it? It's copied. I'm just getting a loss for words, but thank you, Nipsey, for trying to do the best you could.
Yeah, established community. There's so much. His impact was just so powerful. And like I said, there's a lot of people that don't know him for his music. They know him for the things that he did, just for the STEM and STEAM programs in his community and different communities, and just kind of setting up the groundwork.
It wasn't
it wasn't just I'm gonna put a sneaker store on the corner in the hood.
Yeah, or I'm just gonna get rich off of these people real quick and take my money to the boondocks.
It was people knew him. Law enforcement, reacted to his passing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a lot. And I know that, I try to avoid social media in times like this, because there you have the people who are legitimately grieving.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the people who want to, like, I guess, have time on their hands and they want to, like, throw salt on it.
Yeah.
There's a hard time for everybody. And for whatever reason, people connected to him and, you know, are affected by his passing. Just people need to do what they need to do in this time. And it's not about you. Like, I know people are, like, making comments, oh, so now everybody's a Nipsey fan or whatever.
It's not
I don't
even
believe it's about being a fan. I think that his passing is, like, bringing awareness to several things that are happening. It's bringing awareness to what we all should be doing in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's also raising awareness to the fact that, like, you know, like, we're losing our black men.
Yeah.
All of the time.
Yeah.
To senseless violence, to jail, to, like, tons of things. And it's hard. And then, like, it highlights just the fact that, like, you know, you're trying to do the right thing. And that doesn't necessarily guarantee you, like, a pass. Like, it doesn't mean, oh, I live forever.
It almost
and
puts
it's scary.
Target on your back.
Sometimes, yeah.
It almost puts his target on your back, because I know quite a few people right now that ain't doing a damn thing for their community. And it's like, why him of all people? You know, why someone that has been so positive
Mm-hmm.
and influential in the black community, and then to have it happen by another brother,
Right.
hurts my heart. You know, I've been doing a lot of self work and trying to understand, you know, like, self-coach myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, as I get a deeper understanding of self, I almost can look at people and be like, oh, that's why you're acting like that, because you have gone through things. So I almost feel sympathy
Mm-hmm.
for him, because he wasn't created like that either. There's, like, demons that people are fighting every day. It's just like, why, dude? Like, why? And it, as a mother, it just breaks my heart to know that this is what we're doing to each other.
Mm-hmm. It's tragic.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
tragic.
It is. But I want to encourage everybody to do their part. You know, you don't have to have millions of dollars to encourage your community and just uplift us. You know, we're going to do our part. Please do yours. So what about Lauren? Well, you wanna, like, as a woman, don't you, like?
No, I mean, I'm just, like, I don't know. Like, I don't ever want to be in that place in my life, ever. Period.
Yeah.
Point blank. I don't ever want to be in that place. I mean, I know I've been in situations where I've thought about, like, oh my God, this could have happened to you, and I didn't find out, and I don't want to. And you know what I mean? And that's why I say that people need to uplift her. And for someone who's gone through loss recently, one of the things that, like, this is a thing for us now, and it's everybody is reaching out and everybody's there. But I think it's, like, after, like, it's when all of this starts to quiet down and you're alone. That's the time that somebody, you know, people need to kind of still be around and uplift her and be there and support her, because when the craziness is over and everyone goes back to their regular lives, which is probably the hardest thing to go through, it's just that support.
Right.
So
Right.
I just hope that, you know, she has every bit of support that she needs and the strength to kind of push through, because this is a pill. Like, it's really a lot.
And it's crazy. I think you sent something to me through WhatsApp, and you were like, this is why we hound our men and want to know where you at, what you doing, who you with.
Yeah.
Come home.
I mean, we talked about this last week on the Lies episode, and it's just like, a lot of the things that I was thinking about when I was thinking about some of the stupid lies I've been told, it's because I was literally checking in on somebody. It's because it's always been like, I don't ask, let me know when you get home, because I really care ultimately what you're doing, other than the fact that you made it home safely.
Yeah.
Period, point blank. Like, I'm not necessarily trying to, like, micromanage your time or, like, you know what I mean? I just want to know that you made it in safely. That's it. I just want to know that you're safe, that you're alive, that you're whole. That's it.
Yeah.
And so, and that's not just for, like, somebody that I'm romantically involved with. That's for my brother. That's for my cousins. I do it with my girlfriends. I do it with, you know, whatever. But it's a difference, like, when, like, for example, like, I guess, I mean, it's different with, like, black men who, when you have your brothers, your cousins, your husbands, your sons that are out. My brother is 6'5" and 200 and something pounds.
Oh my God.
So it's just think about this. You driving a car, it's never a real reason. It's oh, your tints are too dark, and then it's a thing.
Yeah.
Or you ran this light, or you didn't stop fast enough, or it's just something. And those are the things that, it's always something. And so you just never know.
Yeah.
And it's always being
his height and his weight.
Yeah. And then it's just, but it's not, that's just him.
Aggressive.
For whatever. Yeah. And
he could be the biggest teddy bear.
Well, he is. And, but that's what I'm saying. I deal with that. And then you have, you have your cousins, you have your brother, you have your sons, you have your friends. And it's just anytime they're not in your, in your view and you don't know where they are, it's hey, you all right? You know what I mean? If something's going on, it's you want to make sure that they're okay. And it's I said, we're not out here trying to micromanage your lives. We really just want to make sure that you're safe.
Right.
That's
and on top of it, a lot of y'all know y'all ain't doing the right thing.
Exactly. So
imagine if this could happen to someone who is, well, as far as I know, legit, in the streets and was a bona fide entrepreneur, business owner, and still was hurt. Allow us to be on your ass and asking you where you at, what you doing. When are you coming home? Because clearly nobody is above a bullet. Oh God. So I know that there was a few people who had some really outstanding things. Let me call them outstanding things to talk about as it relates to this topic on social media. And one of them was, what's his name? Tahoe.
Mm-hmm.
Tahoe TV.
Mm-hmm. From the So Shameless podcast.
Yes, from the So Shameless podcast. And he had a few comments on Twitter. And I quote, "Black men are kill or be killed. White men will fight each other. Bar brawls." That's quote unquote. But they're not worried about being killed. Black women fight each other.
So I guess so on his episode, and he also posted this because I guess he posted a comment, he tweeted, and he said, do black men walk the streets with the same fear for their lives do black women walk the streets with the same fear for their lives that black men do? And so he tweeted it and obviously eventually deleted it and then was kind of forced to explain.
Did he delete it?
He did delete it because he got so much backlash. Well, that's the thing. He got a lot of backlash because there wasn't a lot of context. Mm-hmm. So I know on their episode, they did take the time and thank you. That was, I appreciate it because I understood. I mean, I didn't take anything from it. I didn't think I understood what he was asking.
Yeah.
I understood what he was asking. And so, they did take the time on their show to kind of talk through what he meant by it and just some of the fears and the concerns that they have as black men. And Daj, the co-host, also kind of expressed some of the same concerns that we were talking about. Just as a woman who loves a black man,
right.
What are some of the fears that you have? These are legitimate. You know what I mean? These are legitimate. And so I think one of the points that he pointed out were black men and the aggression. I know he made a comparison that what you just quoted was just he was saying something to the black men basically they take their aggression to the point of kind of killing each other. Mm-hmm. Whereas he's if it's two white guys that are in a bar, they're gonna fight it out. Two women are going to fight each other. Whereas he feels there's this extra aggression from between and from black men.
Yeah. And
I kind of feel do I see it? Yeah, I could see where it comes from. It's just there's a lot of pressure. Mm-hmm. So
it's trauma after trauma after trauma.
Yeah.
And when you see it, a fight is not enough. That's they start fighting when they're kids. And I'm not saying that white people don't do that as well. And I'm not even absolutely in agreement with the fact that white men don't kill each other. I think that our black issues and black killings get broadcast a little differently. Mm-hmm. I think that they're quick to put that up on media, within the media, to create a story of who the black man is. I want to have that conversation without the comparison.
Yeah,
to white
absolutely.
people.
I absolutely don't. I mean, that comment came up, but I don't. That's honestly, I don't want to. That's not my focal point. I don't want. That's not a thing for me.
Right.
I want to address honestly that fear. I want to talk about why, like the fear that black men feel, and then also the fears and the concerns that we feel as the women who love them. Those are the things that I more so think that are important to discuss, because I think as a community, once we start to acknowledge them, we can do the work and work through them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just like I was saying before, on a basic level, instead of arguing with your dude about, oh, because you asking him about his comings and goings, if he simply understands that you're afraid when you go out there, I'm just as afraid of you being out there.
Yeah.
So, and if I think that's the conversation that's easier to have. And I think that was more so the takeaway from hearing the conversation that came from his comments.
Right. Not only am I afraid for myself, but I'm afraid for you and you and you. But you know what? I think this conversation would be more well-rounded if we get a guy, a man involved. And I got one on deck. Yo.
Hello.
Hi. I'm bringing in, shout out to Pyro, my husband. Thank you for jumping into this conversation as the male perspective. Now, what do you think about the fear? Do you think that you as a black man, you walk around with more fear that, you know, you could be killed as compared to a black woman?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for having me on the show.
You're welcome.
And I
Thank you
want to
for
say
joining us.
what's up to the entire ALittleAudacity audience. It's unfortunate that I'm on the show to be talking about a topic like this in the wake of what happened to Nipsey Hussle. And the fear of a black man, we have so much to fear. We are born with a burden. And you live through this burden. The quote that you guys just said about the guy on his show saying about, black men kill each other, white men fight, I totally disagree.
Yeah.
It's broadcast more. It's put out there to condition you more, to be fearful of the black man.
Yeah.
They need the United States, this country, to be fearful of the black man. Even though we're smart, we're scientists, we're doctors, we're inventors, we do all of that stuff. We're entrepreneurs. We invented most of the things in this country that was important, that was stolen, but they have to keep that out there because of white privilege and white dominance, which is what they want. So the fear is real because it's out there and it trickles down to these people who don't understand that. So, and then you have number 45 in there who makes it even better, makes it easier. It's always been out there, but makes it easier and makes these people who used to hide their racism and their fears towards black men to put it more on display.
Right.
So black men have a lot to deal with, a lot to fear, but a lot of it is conditioning and what we condition to be used to. And it's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that a black man was conditioned in the fact that you got in an argument with your brother Nipsey, who was a friend of yours,
friends, right?
an
So I've
associate,
heard.
of yours, and you guys couldn't talk that out. You were so felt so disrespected because of the perception and what you've been conditioned to see that you thought you couldn't fight that man, but you had to kill that man.
Right.
And when you saw that you shot that man and he wasn't dead, you came back and shot him some more.
Is that the story?
That's the video.
Oh, wow.
That's in the video. So,
Wow.
It's like, it's unfortunate. And it's the perception out here. And Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. You don't know who you're killing. Nipsey could have been, he was someone who was making change. And he could have been here to make even more change. And in the wake of his death, with all the positiveness and all the messages that's being spread, I just hope people continue this. And I hope people, black people, brown people, all recognize that there's a bunch of living Nipseys out here.
That's correct.
And we need to support them now and don't wait until they pass away and get on the movements. We can't follow everybody. We can't, be fans of everybody or whatever it is. But if half the people who put out the heartfelt messages of Nipsey paid a little bit more attention to him when he was alive, or other entrepreneurs when they're here, or people who's making movements and making changes, we'll make more changes in this country.
Right.
Because we are not the minority.
Right.
Not in my head. Everywhere I've gone, I see black people. I mean, I know I haven't been everywhere. I haven't been in middle America, but I do not believe that we are not the minority. Definitely not here on the East Coast. So we got to get over that fear that we have. But it's out there. It's what they put out there. We get killed on camera. We get choked on camera. And there's no repercussions from it.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think we do have, like, to your point, we do have a responsibility as a community to acknowledge that there are other people doing the same types of things in our communities. We can do the same types of things in our communities. We can build up our communities. And we do have a responsibility. We're all sitting here and it's impacting a lot of us. And we're all posting on social media about it now. And it's like, this is not a today thing or this week thing. This is definitely something that we should take and pretty much carry on the legacy, carry the torch. And just see what kinds of influences we can make in our community, what type of changes we can do to support ourselves and to support the youth that's, the ones that are coming behind us. You know?
Absolutely. And I think that a lot of times, it seems like such a big to do, like support my community. What does that even mean, right? Because a regular person, a person that doesn't, when I say regular, a person that doesn't have like influence in the media, influence, on the street, like what can they do right now to support their community, right? And I always tell people, stop looking for Jay-Z to recognize you. Look around the people that are on your level. Look lateral. And say, hey, I know this person is starting a business. Let me see if they need help. They need help. Supporting businesses and supporting community does not always equate to spending money. You can spend time. You can start with giving each other like a uplifting word to keep going. I see you, because remember we were talking, Sophia, and it was like something about the engagement on posts, right? On Instagram. And it's like you can put up a picture of your food or you in a cute dress and you get all this engagement. Yes, girl, go, girl, go, girl. And you put up something about your business.
And people aren't checking for it or
and
supporting it.
And people aren't checking for it. And you just never know what your words of encouragement on an Instagram, it didn't cost you a cent to just say, hey, love what you're doing, keep it up. That person could be having a bad day, right? A bad week, a bad month. That person could have not gotten anyone to acknowledge their business since they started their business. And your words can be that energy that they need to keep going. Like those are little things that, people that don't necessarily have the funds or the time, but you have the words.
That's right. And also too, like this week I saw a personality that I follow. So she posted someone had like basically went in her DMs and just had a bunch of really hurtful things to say to her. And quite frankly, the old adage of if you don't have anything nice to say, keep it to yourself is also something that we need to kind of like revert back to, because I think sometimes like we sit and we hate on other people and we do it loudly. And you don't ever realize how the impact of that also. And you just need to be a little bit more mindful and take control over that. And just kind of, deal with your emotions somewhere else,
Right. So, Pyro.
I wanted to you mentioned Jay-Z. A lot of people, the thing that I do not like, what I hear a lot is what has Jay-Z done? What have you done for the community? Jay-Z has done so much. And to bring up Jay-Z, we used to joke about this in my group of my peers that we were worried about Jay-Z. He's doing too much. And seriously, right now, it's not a joke anymore.
Yeah.
We're worried about Jay-Z. We got to protect Jay-Z while he's here because he's doing a lot for the community. He's doing a lot for black and brown people. I mean, just recently, his wife, Beyonce, went and signed didn't do a deal with Reebok because their staff wasn't diverse enough. So when we get these people in power, we got to support them.
But can I just interject and be an interruption? I think what the difference is, right? What the difference is, and I don't even know how to advise on this or what to think about it, is that Jay-Z is almost untouchable in the community. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Nipsey was very comfortable with being with people that were still there. So how do you guys feel about when people get their money, they leave?
No, you can't
like
leave. You can't leave, though.
It's almost like you protect yourself so that
But you have to
continue.
because of the way what we talked about earlier, the way people are conditioned. You have money, you're gonna have these people. You're gonna have 17 out of 20 people happy for you, and that's the way it goes. Those 3 people are the ones you got to worry about.
Right.
Those are the ones that might shoot you, that might rob you because they're lazy, don't want to work on their own, or they see something, they don't want to put the work in, and again, it's the way they were conditioned.
Right.
Like,
right.
I can't stand the excuse of, and I'm sorry, I'm not taking a shot at Cardi B, but like when she said, I had to do what I had to do because I had to feed myself and feed my family. We all been there. We got choices to make, and you chose the choice that you made, which was not right, of what you did. I don't want to repeat it on this show.
Right.
So we all have choices to make. I've been there. I've had no money. I chose to deal with it and pull myself out of those circumstances. You know what I'm saying? So it's all choices that you make, and we gotta be. We can't be conditioned to the fact that we have to accept this. We have to accept the 9 to 5. We're conditioned from the time we're born, from the schools that we go to we're not taught about life in school. We're not taught how to balance a checkbook. We're taught about sequential math, E equals MC squared.
Yeah.
Where as a grown man, I've never used that in my life. I understand if you want to use that, you want to be in science. You should get that choice. But if I want to be, they don't teach you how to be a business entrepreneur. So you have to break out of the mold that's set for you.
Right.
And, we have to support each other as black folk. And what you asked before, what can we do in the communities to help each other, is give a positive word, give a like, give a pat on the back,
Right.
give a repost.
Give an emoji.
That's
Exactly.
it.
Can you give that?
Give I mean,
Simple,
just
I see you.
support.
Just acknowledgement.
Right.
Exactly.
Just support. That's
Right.
all it is. Don't be scared to support somebody. Don't be scared to show love as black people, okay?
And that energy is crazy.
They don't show this on TV.
Yeah.
They don't show the same way they don't show all the white violence on television.
Right. 'Cause
They don't
there
show the
is-
black love on TV.
Right.
There's not a lot of popular black men empowerment shows. There's women empowerment because women support each
Men
other.
Empowerment. That's right. I
Okay.
can't think of one right now.
There's positive black shows, but I'm talking about out there, like, make it like everybody knows about it, everybody listens to it. There's a lot of women, because even as black women, they stick together and they pick each other up. You got your black women who's hated. You got your white women who hates on white women. It's not a color thing. It's
Right.
a people thing. But the good people outweigh the bad.
Right.
In every aspect of life. So when you think about it like that, there's nothing to be fearful from. Chase your dreams, and you got to be who you are, and you got to watch out, and you got to be your brother and your sister's keeper.
Right.
That's right.
And I love the fact that you said that, school doesn't teach you entrepreneurial skills, excuse me. I totally agree. I think that the school system teaches you how to be a good worker in corporate America. And it's up to us, basically. It's up to the household. It always begins in the household to teach our children that, you can get, your education, because I'm for education. I like actually going to school and learning things, just because if I had money, I would be in school right now to pay for another degree. But there's more to it. Like, if we want to see like real change, I think there's more than just working a 9 to 5. Like, you gotta figure it. Like, we have to figure it out. This generation, we have to figure it out.
And we will. We just need to support each other through it, and
Yeah.
we will.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, in regards to that fear, you fear for your lives, we fear for your lives, but we want you ultimately to come back home to us whenever you're not in our sights. And so, like, we as daughters, we as sisters, we as wives, girlfriends, we care and we worry. And I mean, we may not always show it the way that you receive it or whatever. Sometimes it looks like we're snooping, or sometimes it looks like, we're being
Hating on you.
invasive or whatever.
Hating on your homeboy.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, we're constantly being reminded, you know, every time something like this happens where we lose someone, we're constantly, you know, losing you is now is a remind, like we're being reminded of the possibility of losing you.
Right.
We lose men to jail, to senseless violence,
Mm-hmm.
and to police, you know. So when you leave us, there are just many more reasons why you don't come back to us, and that scares us so much more. So, you know, that whole let me know when you get home thing, or the simple like hit me, you know, just check in from time to time. It's a really simple ask, but it really does a lot. And so we love you, do it.
Yes.
And so, you know, it's like every time a black man is a victim to senseless violence, like, you know, we hug our fathers closer, our brothers, our husbands, our friends, you know, and we love you.
Yeah,
and
we do. Oh my gosh. Well, Pyro, thank you for
so
chiming
much.
in, babe. Oh my God, y'all
Thank
been
you,
my
thank you.
lovey.
So
Thanks, babe.
thank you so much. So this is definitely a conversation we want to continue having on, like I said, you know, you guys knew you were going to hear it from me again, A Little Audacity on all platforms. And if you have anything you want to share with us that you don't necessarily want to post on social, the email for that is getyouSome@ALittleAudacity.com.
Right. And the charge is, what can we as people do to support the community, to uplift each other? Like, chime in, let us know. Maybe I'm not thinking of something. Maybe you have another idea. All ideas are welcome, and we will share it to the masses through our platform. That was deep.
That was heavy. Yeah.
That was really heavy. Yeah. So,
To the business of things.
to the business of things, I just want to shout out. We Say What They Can't Radio,
Yes.
another Black-owned business that you guys can support. Check them out on Instagram, on YouTube, and of course here at this station. If you're looking to do a podcast, you know, reach out. They're pretty dope, and their studio is amazing. And if not, just send an emoji, the hands clapping.
Exactly. Let them know you see them.
Right. So that was Black Excellence, and my honorable mention. As always, engage with us on social media. You can find me at L King by Design on Instagram. That's where I hang out. What about you?
And I'm on Twitter, as always, the Belfia.
Tweet.
Please like, subscribe, and share our podcast on all of our platforms. We appreciate your feedback, as we've said a ton of times, and
Yes.
we're excited to
Yes.
hear from you.
Yes. And on that note,
Yeah, it is a wrap. Until next time, thank you so much for tuning in to the Get You Some podcast. And we just want to end with some words from the king, Mr. Nipsey Hussle.